Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Today we're doing a little bit of a PC rejuvenation for a friend of ours who is currently away on deployment defending our country. There's a little bit of a story behind this, so make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on that little bell to receive notifications because we upload as much as we can these days. But the story goes, our friend's currently away, he's deployed, he's in the Australian Defence Force. His partner's been using his computer. He's an avid gamer, mind you. Like, when he's not deployed, all he's doing is playing games. I don't blame him, this thing is actually pretty beastly, but she was having some problems with the PC and I said, look, just bring it round, I'll take a look at it. I've sorted it all out, but I noticed one thing. And Claire, what's the one thing that we noticed when this computer came in?
It's a bit dusty.
The front fans are all clogged up. There's debris around the bottom. There's all the fans are just manky as. The idea originally was I was just gonna clean up the system, right? And then like make it all fresh and surprise him and whatnot. But I got a better idea to surprise him. Let's not just clean up this PC. Let's transplant this thing into a new case because I feel like that's kind of the Gear Seekers thing to do. That's just what we do, right? We always have this idea of like, oh, we'll just clean it up. We won't do a video, you know. And I'm like, you know what? Let's make a video and make this thing look sick. What's the case, Claire? You know what it is already, right?
June case.
Not the June case. That's never coming. We're transplanting it into the Corsair 5000T. And I'm gonna change a couple parts in here. Not many, just aesthetic stuff to make this way less maintenance and for it to look a lot cooler. Before we go to ripping this thing apart, which is gonna be fun because I can already see how dirty it is. Look, if you're deployed, the person who owns this PC is like one of the most hardcore gamers ever. I don't blame you for not keeping it clean, trust me. It's okay, I fully get it. I have some PCs that are like this too, but let's not tell anyone that. The CPU in here is the Intel Core i9 9900KS. For RAM, it's got 32 gigs of DDR4 memory. It's Clev memory. I can't remember the exact timing and stuff, but that's not really important. The motherboard is a Z390 Prime A from ASUS. The GPU is the ASUS RTX 2080 Ti. I can't remember the exact one, but which one is it? It's the dual. It says it on the back plate, but this thing is actually a beast of a GPU. Just as a bit of a heads up, people are gonna complain about this. Oh, you shouldn't clean computer parts inside the studio and blah, blah, blah. This studio is designed to get dirty and to be cleaned really easily. Not only that, it is pouring with rain in Sydney right now. And even if I wanted to go outside, which I can't because we live in an apartment, I can't do that anyway. So tripod the camera now, Claire.
Oh,
You've done such a good job holding the camera.
So
You've done such a good job.
it's the different camera to usual.
It is the different camera to usual. It's the big one.
Yeah, the big
The
one.
big cinema one.
So you can see me shaking. Look, big
I actually used this case for a while for my own gaming PC, and one thing I realized after using it for a while was I don't really like it, and it is an absolute nightmare to pull the front panel off. Oh, jeez Louise. Oh my goodness, I should wear a mask for this. Actually, can you get me a mask? Looks like the right mask to me. Hello. I feel like MF Doom. This is pretty dirty. Let's this is actually gonna protect me, right? Like medically this is gonna protect me. This is the litmus test for how dirty something is. I'm not even gonna bother cleaning any of it. Let's just start pulling stuff out, right? What do you mean? It feels good, look. That did not taste good. I just looked at myself. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to collect myself. Yeah, let's get the GPU out. I've already done that, but let's see the mank levels. Oh, that's pretty bad. I'm gonna have to clean this. Oh, look at the back of it. I'm glad I'm wearing a mask. Not that much actually plugged into this, which is kind of nice. Makes my life very, very easy. This is the mask that I meant, all right? I don't want to get any of these, let's call them particulates, in my body. I think I'm actually going to change the cooler as well. Let's unplug the stuff from the cooler so we can just go dangle wangle. Oh wow, this is why it's overheating. There's almost no mounting pressure at all. There's almost no thermal paste on the CPU itself. Because it wasn't making good contact the whole time, it's dry, right? Now, I've got to say, our friend didn't build this PC. This is a pre-built. That's not ideal. That is like, I could probably eat that. And even the thermal paste on the CPU is like dry. This actually is a big sign as to why we're having so many issues with this. All right, let's get that motherboard out. The only other thing I need to pull out is the power supply. I'm not going to be using this cooler again. Out you come. Oh, there is no integrated I/O shield on here. Looks like we're going to teach these guys the I/O shield trick, Claire, from back in the day. Here's a tip for people who haven't seen one of these before. Some motherboards don't have integrated I/O shields. Yeah, I know. It's a bit of an older thing. We don't really see it that much anymore, but check this. This is how you take these out, right? This is just what we used to do back in the day. You get the back of your screwdriver and you just go, that was a good shot, I missed. That's it. Here's my favorite thing on pre-built PCs is checking out the cable management on it. And my other favorite part is undoing all of their hard work with these. Cut, cut. I need to clean up the rest of it, but I'm gonna leave this as is. This can be a battle for another day. So Claire, can you come and take this away because I can't, you know the leg situation. Bang, bang, bang. Oh wow. Getting this thermal paste off, I have to like scrub at it because it's so caked on and it's dry. Look at the back of this power supply. Ugh. Surprisingly, the power supply is pretty clean. I just want to get the dust out of all of the heatsink fins and I want to get the dust off the back side of these fans. So I'm not going to repaste it. I don't think the GPU actually needs that, but I think that it needs a bit more cleaning from dust because everything else in the system was pretty dusty and I figured that, there would be a lot of dust hiding underneath the shroud, if that makes sense. I'm going to do that off camera really quickly. Here it is, ladies and gents, the 5000T. We have used this one before and I don't think we'll be using it again. We do have another one of these in white, which we're going to be doing a build with, but yeah, let's get this show on the road. Here you go, Claire. Thank you for receiving my glass panel. The idea with this is somewhat copy the build that we did last time in the 5000T. I'm gonna use that new Corsair cooler, the Elite. I'm gonna give it to him because, whatever. The only thing is, I'll be filling it out with LL fans exactly the same way, but because this only has 3 more fan outputs for lighting, I actually need to add another controller, which is fine because the cooler actually has its own controller. First thing we need to do though is put in the I/O shield. I don't think that the motherboard needs to be changed at all. I think it's all good. And we got through that one without slicing and dicing our fingers. The thing I like about this case, and a lot of cases these days have this, but there's a center peg for insane people like me who like to build with the PC being upright. It's just easy, guys. Once you've done it a bunch of times, you'll just never go back. It's easy. And then you find that center peg, and the board's held in. Look how easy that is. We get a lot of comments from people, oh, how do you build standing up? That's how, right? Center peg. Center peg is life. I decided that I'm still gonna put white cables in here, but I'm not gonna put those ones in with the RGB NZXT cable combs because they're a bit of a nightmare to cable manage and I don't think they actually look that good. And our mate doesn't really care for aesthetics that much, but I figure that these ones are nice. They've got permanent metal cable combs in them. These are the newer Bit Phoenix ones actually. Look how clean that is, right? Like one cable in it already looks clean. The thing I like to do after getting all the cables sorted and plugging everything into the motherboard, I skipped all the front panel I/O stuff and whatnot, but I like to put the rear fan in. Basically the way I usually do it is I just pass the cable through first. As I mentioned, I'm going all LL fans in this. The thing is with big cases like this, there's so much room for activities and they're just very easy to build in. So you'll notice that a lot of the time when I build PCs for other people, I'll build in larger cases because most of the time, like I know how much space they've already got for stuff, so it's not a huge issue. And the other reason is because if I ever need to do anything and fix their computers, I know that I'm not gonna be fighting having to worry about cable management and all that kind of junk, because the case is so big that it's gonna be easy to get access to things. I usually just put 4 screws in to start off with, just in case there's any adjustment I need to do, but there's actually no real room for adjustment for this one. Thermal paste is always such a contentious subject on any tech channel, and there's lots of different ways to apply it, but the way I'd recommend for these small IHS type of CPUs, like these older Intel style CPUs, is a P dot in the middle. I'm going with Noctua NTH2 thermal compound for this, because that's what I have right now. In the middle, give it a little bit of a wipe. There's some thermal paste I need to clean off, but you know, it is what it is. And it's obviously going to be better than the NZXT stuff that was on here before that had basically just turned to dust. Push it down, give it a little bit of a wiggle just to spread that thermal compound around evenly. You don't have to, but usually do one corner first to hold it up top, apply it diagonally. The pattern that I always do is diagonal, and screwdrivers, people are like, oh, you don't need to use a screwdriver for that. Use a screwdriver. Just don't do it up too tight. It's just so you don't have to get your hands in there. Once you've done that up to a decent pressure, just give it a wiggle, see if it moves around. There is zero movement there. It's got a bunch of cables that run over the back here that basically used for the commander that comes with this. And then we'll plug this one into the CPU fan header, because this is an ASUS board and it will whinge about it. All right, we're reusing the same power supply that we had. This one can be a bit tricky in these Corsair cases, because they have the cutouts for all the cables that run through quite low, but it should just about squeeze in. Sometimes Corsair just does some really weird things, and down we go. Last but not least is the GPU. Yay, we're almost done. Home stretch, ladies and gents. So we'll just line that up with the slot, pop it in, Bob's your uncle. Wow, that's actually incredible how small everything looks. Sometimes that way just looks cleaner, especially if you've got less cable combs. So maybe I will do that, because I think that might look a bit nicer and a bit cleaner. The rest of the build is dealing with all of that. So I'm gonna spare you that misery, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, it's time for the panels to go back on. What you guys don't know is it's actually the next day. Let's hope the back goes on. I'm pretty sure I cable managed this decently, right? Yeah, it looks decent enough. I skipped the whole cable management part because I figured you guys might find that boring, but here's a look at how I did it. It's relatively clean. I don't like to use cable ties when I'm doing PCs for friends and stuff. Just in case anything goes wrong, I use Velcro, and then I can undo it and then redo it back up. It just saves so much time later down the line. I don't have to cut things. It just makes it accessible. And if wanted to add an SSD or something, you know, we could just do that pretty easily. So yeah, the only issue I have with this case and this hardware in particular, like there's nothing wrong with it. Like it's going to be an absolute beast, but it just looks so small in here. Look at that, Claire. It just looks so small. It's crazy, but yeah, no. If he wants to change his hardware later, which I'll probably end up doing if he wants to upgrade or whatever, then there's plenty of room for activities. All right, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this build with me. Now, I'll put a PC part picker list down below if you want to know what all the parts that we use in this build were. But I want to talk about a couple issues that I encountered with the cooler, not so much the system. And it turns out this is a really common issue with these new coolers from Corsair. It's nothing that I've actually encountered doing builds and doing the install guides with it, but reading through the Corsair forums, it's very, very common. And that is the screen just does not detect in IQ. Now, I've got it to detect a couple times just so I could take the hardware animation that I had off it. So I did get it to work momentarily, but it wasn't consistent enough for it to be like working all the time. So if there ends up being a fix, I'm obviously going to apply this to the system for my friend. But for now, I think the liquid temp is fine just to have on the screen all the time until they come out with a fix. And if they don't end up fixing it, I'll end up swapping out the cooler later down the line, so it's not just the liquid temp forever and ever and ever. But to be honest, when I spoke to my mate about his computer, he doesn't really look at it, so he doesn't really care about how it looks. He just wants to play all of the games, and I think I've fixed that, because what was actually happening with the other machine was it was overheating and turning off, overheating and turning off, and blah, blah, blah. So you'd use it for a little while and it would just go, nah, I'm just gonna turn off. There's one other random thing that I noticed that I didn't notice before because the RAM was set to unicorn spew. And when I set this all to white, I noticed that one of the sticks is discolored. So, I mean, it happens when you, with older parts, like this thing's been going for 3 or 4 years now. So, you know, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. The RAM still works perfectly. I actually updated the BIOS and stuff too. Like I actually did quite a lot of behind the scenes maintenance to make sure this was running nice and smoothly too. But anyway, that's boring stuff. But let us know what you guys think of this Build With Me series. I really like doing them because I get to just like talk about little things that I would do when I would build PCs, and it's something that you don't really hear me talk about when I do normal build videos. So yeah, let us know in the comments down below what you think. And if you like the look of this PC, I think it looks cool. The whole black and white theme looks cool. What do you reckon, Claire? Like, it looks really sweet, just black and white, and yeah, sweet. Anyways, guys, if you liked the video, you know what to do. Hit the like button. Make sure you get yourself subscribed to see more Build With Me videos. I like doing them. Also, hit the like button, ring the bell. I said that already. Yeah? Yeah. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek, and I hope you guys are having an awesome time in your lives. And I appreciate you all very much for supporting us. My knee's really sore today. Yeah, that's why it took me 2 days to do this video, because sitting down for too long in a certain way also hurts. I had to have a break yesterday, so this morning I was feeling a bit more rested and my leg is not as sore. It is hurting a bit more than yesterday, but you know, that's life. Thanks for watching.